So yeah, Terrace Village isn't one of the most memorable levels that I've experienced in Spyro. Oh man, it's a pretty good shot. Tagged him back though. Terrace Village isn't one of the most memorable levels, like on the level of you know, Toasty or Dark Hollow, or especially some of the Dreamweavers levels. I mean, the Dreamweavers levels that we're about to get to after this world are really what I think of when I think of the first Spyro the Dragon game. And boom! Alright. But it's a pretty fun level. We have quite a bit of oh wow, he's got a ranged attack. Jeez, I thought he was just kind of a melee character, but nope. Really using a health pickup. Get him. Haha. No, it's an interestingly designed level. You know, there's a fair bit of these unbreakable chests strewn around, and we got to kind of use some clever ways to get to them. What's over here? Nothing but ooze. We even have ooze waterfalls here. Look at that. So the first Spyro game, it's hard for me to say which is my favorite in the original trilogy. For a long while, I was kind of a Spyro purist, and I refused to play any of the non-Insomniac developed Spyro games, you know, because they're real Spyro games, whatever, you know. And then recently, I went back and I kind of opened up to the sequels and the different reboots. And I really enjoyed The Legend of Spyro for a completely different reason than I enjoyed this game. But gotcha. It's a little bit more story focused than exploration based, like the original Spyro games, and I like that.
Good job, Spyro. One day you'll be able to tell all the dragons about your amazing adventures.
Sure, but what I'd really like to do is get out of this swamp.
Well, that was an awfully strange pose for that dragon to be in, right? Draw me like one of your French dragons. It's kind of silly. But yeah, I have recently gone back and I've played almost all of the other incarnations of Spyro. I haven't played Skylanders. Not that I have anything against Skylanders, just haven't gotten around to it. And because it's a little bit more merchandise based, you know, it's not just a video game. You kind of need to buy the toys to really get the full enjoyment of it, I think. Oh no! Here you go. Let's try this again. These punks. Haha! Now you'll notice that strangely, the music here in Terrace Village has changed. We're actually now listening to a track that's it's an alternate track of the High Caves theme, which is odd because usually each level has its own theme, but this is the only level, or at least the first level that I've noticed. There might be some later on in the game that it actually changes its musical theme midway through, which is an interesting design decision. Like you have to ask yourself, maybe when they're testing this, maybe they found that this level took just a little bit longer than a lot of the other levels, you know, just due to the hidden areas and such. And perhaps they figured that they needed to change the music up to keep it from getting monotonous, you know? It is interesting seeing we have like this, it's almost like an, you know, as I said, most of the architecture here in Beastmaker's world is very primal, and we have this kind of primal village here. Oh, that was too soon. Oh, man. Go for it. Haha! Oh, there's gyms down here. How about that? Up, boo! Up, boo! Anything else? Okay. Again, I think I pointed this out in the Dark Hollows level, but this is really cool to me. If you look, you can see the torches. You know, it's got a little flame on there, and it's glowing, and it's growing and stuff. And the textures of the environment are actually being illuminated by it. They're growing in light and shadow with the torch. Which doesn't seem like a big feat right now in the day of modern gaming, but back when this came out, it really showed a very high level of sophistication in the game. As I said, I have played most of the incarnations of Spyro at this point. Oh, this can be tricky. Okay, I can do this. Get off it! Oh no, I missed him! Oh, whatever. I played most of the incarnations of Spyro. The original trilogy is still my favorite. Although it's hard to say, because I feel like The Legend of Spyro really is a different series entirely, you know? So it's like comparing apples and oranges. But the original trilogy is my favorite. And of the original trilogy, oh no! Fell off that. Oh well, I can get back up there easily enough. Again, one of the things that makes this game so enjoyable is the fact that you don't ever really feel like you're playing it the wrong way. You know, if you fall, if you miss a glide or whatever, no problem. Just run back around, get back up there. It's really just about goofing around, you know? As far as my favorite in the original Spyro trilogy, it's a toss-up between the original Spyro or Spyro 2. Usually, here we go. I find that unlike movies, in video games, the second game in a series tends to be one of the best, if not the best. I think it's because, you know, you start a new franchise, you try out, you experiment, you try a lot of new concepts, and then based on the feedback you get from that first game, when you get around to the development of the second game, you can really have your design decisions informed by what worked and what didn't work in the first game. You know, you can really polish things up and kind of master the game, as it were. I don't think there's any point for us to get onto this thing. No, there's nothing over here. Okay. But it's fun that we can. It's fun that we can explore these worlds, even when they do nothing to help progress us. You know, we can just glide to the top of a roof, just because I feel like gliding to the top of a roof. But like I was saying, with regards to game development, I feel like the second title in a series is usually the most polished. You know, that's where they've got the basic formula down, and yeah, let's just overshoot that guy. Haha! They got the basic formula down, and they can really polish that up and make it great. Usually, for me at least, the third title in a series, it starts to kind of run afoul of a couple of problems. Number one, there's a pressure to innovate, because you don't want to be seen as just, you know, releasing the same thing that's already been released, and so as a result, sometimes you'll see just really curious design decisions introduced that may not serve any purpose whatsoever other than just to say, oh, we did something new, you know? Or, alternatively, there is no innovation, and it is just more of the same, you know? So that's why it's a really hard thing to do to get the third game in a series right, you know, to find the right level of innovation versus keeping the old. And I think that you really can't please everyone in that scenario. I feel like there's a way that I can get to the rooftops from earlier, but I'm not sure where I need to go to do that. Perhaps over here. Yeah, we can try making this glide. Huh, boo. Ah, there we go. Go around this building. Aha! Look at all these gems. Insomniac has actually, they've started 3 franchises that they've taken to a trilogy. Spyro, Ratchet & Clank, and Resistance. And for at least Spyro and Ratchet & Clank, which are very comparable games, being cartoony platformers, for me at least, that progression has held. My favorite Ratchet & Clank game was definitely Going Commando. I did like Up Your Arsenal, but there's a lot of elements that I wasn't just like totally, you know, that really didn't do anything for me. I didn't dislike them, but it did nothing to further my enjoyment of the game, such as the addition of multiplayer, you know? There you go. Alright. Is that everything? Yeah, 400 out 400. Alright, let's head back home. And like I said, with Spyro, it really is a toss-up for me, though, about whether this was my favorite or Spyro 2 was. Spyro 3 was definitely not. That's not to say it was a bad game. I really enjoyed it. But a lot of the elements that really made me fall in love with this game were less pronounced in Spyro 3. Like I said, they did this a little bit in Spyro 2, but they really played up the comic elements in Spyro 3 a ton. You know, where it was very jokey, it was very cartoony. And there's nothing inherently bad about that. I like cartoony, I like jokey, but we pretty much lost all of the mystical, magical, eerie otherworldliness of the original Spyro game, where things, you know, there's that strong sense of the uncanny and just otherness to this world, about how bizarre it was, and it pretty much just became a purely cartoony world. There's also a lot more emphasis on these different challenges, you know, time-based challenges and races and competitive challenges. So many mini games in Spyro 3. And a lot less emphasis on just exploring and having fun and romping around this wide open 3D world, you know. There's still definitely elements of that, but it wasn't at the foreground. I feel like Spyro 2 did a great job of balancing both those competitive and challenge aspects, you know, with lots of mini games to keep things fresh and new, while still maintaining that sense of wonder, that kind of magical sense of the world around you, you know? Now, Metalhead. This is probably my favorite level in the Beastmaker's world. It's got an interesting setting here where it is nighttime, I think, and you can almost see that there's like sheets of rain going down off in the distance. There's clouds, and we can see some of those little witch huts out here in the swamp. And we've just flown into this castle, right? There's this stone castle in the middle of a swamp. Suitably creepy for a boss fight, right? Part of the reason Metalhead is one of my favorite levels is due purely to the music. Oh no, he got me! These ones are coated in armor, so we can't flame them. There we go. I really like the music in this level. And that's another thing that I think kind of tarnished my enjoyment of the sequels a little bit. Here we have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, a lot of very unique kind of instruments that we're playing with. We have you know, dulcimer harps. We have lots of emphasis on drums, and again, all of this primal kind of feel to the music. Spyro 2, we saw the music take a major shift. We started using it was a lot more guitar based, and that was okay. I didn't really have a problem with that. There's still several themes from Spyro 2 that I found, you know, hauntingly beautiful. With Spyro 3, we almost lost that entirely. There's not really any memorable themes that I can recall off the top of my head. Unlike, you know, in Spyro 1, where just the main Spyro theme, that dun 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 dun, you know,